Hey everyone, I'm Blight, and this is probably going to be my last tier list video I'm gonna make on my channel, which is a 250 and 50 coupons tier list. This tier list will be adding some epic and rare weapons, so if you are not excited to see them, then there's other videos I made about the tier list as well, which is the 500 coupons tier list and the 1000 coupons tier list. Have a check on them so you can know which weapon you want to get. And in this video, I will be adding some epic and rare weapons in this tier list. And the weapons are tested without modules and wear. So let's get into the tier list and hopefully you will enjoy it. So first weapon I want to talk about is Blighter. Blighter is mostly known for rocket jumping, and also it has a good damage. And it got buffed recently in the recent balance changes, which made it do 77 damage. So I think it will be between a bit recommended or recommended, but I don't know if I should put in recommended, because I mean it is used for rocket jumping, and also it does have a good capacity, and it's in rare quality, and also it does a good damage. So I think it might be either a bit recommended or recommended, but as I know, this weapon, what's good about this weapon is that it's very cheap. So if you are new to the game, then this weapon will be good for you if you like rocket jumping. Chip sword is pretty weird. Well, its attack range cannot be increased with the Astral Blade along with other area damage melees, because it is considered as an area damage melee. So the range for this melee is very, very low. So I could say it has to be highly regret, because it's not worth it. And for Combat Slings is like a reskin of the Bomber Sling, but it's in rare quality. This weapon takes some shots to kill, and it doesn't have a good reserve ammo, so it has to be a bit of regret, but it's pretty easy to use because the hitbox for this weapon is big. And for Dyna Slayer is similar to the Mega Destroyer and similar to the X-Mass Destroyer, but it's an epic. Well, Dyna Slayer is a worse version of Mega Destroyer because it does have less base damage. So it has to be not recommended or a bit of regret, but it's pretty good. I do not recommend buying it because X-Mass Destroyer already exists in the armory, which means it's not worth spending your coupons on it because it's not even unique. So it has to be highly regret. Even though it's good, it has to be highly regret because there is X-Mass Destroyer in the armory. Why do you need this? And for laser rings back then used to be overpowered, but nowadays it's pretty decent, because developers secretly nerfed the laser rings. So it basically takes about 2 shots to kill an enemy, and I do not know how good it is at mythical, so it has to be not recommended. And for this weapon, the explosive rifle takes about 3 or 2 shots to kill an enemy, or 4 shots if you have really bad modules. It takes 4 shots. Well, the really bad thing about explosive rifle is very, very slow rocket speed, which makes it not even usable in medium range or long range. So it's only usable in close range because of its rocket speed. So it has to be highly regret or a bit of regret, but I would say it's highly regret, because why do you have to buy this? It sucks. And for Flag Keeper is similar to the Sunrise, but it's rare. So it does slightly less damage. So I would say it's not really bad at all. It's a bit below average, but it's almost decent. But if you do have Sunrise, then you do not need this. And for Ghost Launcher is pretty similar to the Rocket Jumper, but it has better damage, but it has you cannot rocket jump with it because you'll take damage from it, which is bad. So it has to be not recommended or a bit of regret. But as I know, this weapon is pretty good if you are new to the game. It's one of the good weapons you can use because it takes 2 shots to kill an enemy or 3 shots, and it has a good fire rate. So it's pretty good for newbies until if you are in high level matchmaking, so it has to be not recommended. And for Johnny P, this weapon is pretty similar to the shield from the armory, but I don't think there's any difference at all. But I should say it's a bit of regret. I mean, it does a good amount of DPS, but I think the problem about it is that it has a very long reload speed, which means if the player is gonna attack you and you're still reloading, you'll die. And for Leader's Sword, I'm pretty sure that's going to be a mobility weapon because it sucks as a melee weapon. So the only good thing about it is that it has 75 mobility, so it has to be a mobility weapon. And for Neon Fighter has a good DPS, and it's not even a bad weapon as a rare weapon, so I could say it has to be not recommended. And for the Paintball Rifle, it sucks. It literally sucks. One of the worst weapons that exists. Skull Crossbow is pretty decent. I think if you guys gonna make a mythical, I do not know how good it is, but I think it should be not recommended. I do not even know its power in mythical or legendary, so it has to be not recommended. And for Soulstone has better damage than Ghost Lantern, and I'm saying the truth because I did test this out and I compared this to Ghost Lantern. So what I saw is that Soulstone does more damage. And also, Soulstone is good for wall break challenges. So if you have any challenges that are for wall break, then you can definitely go for this one, because this one will be helping you out. But I recommend you to kill the enemies in close range because there is very low chance of you hitting enemies in long range. So it has to be not recommended or a bit recommended. Depends on. Well, I would say not recommended. And for a Special Agent is a bit below average. Well, it's just Hitman Pistol but without poison effect. I do not even know how good it is. Well, it should be a bit of regret. I do not find this good. And for a Spell of Bats, I remember when this weapon used to be good, but for some reason it got nerfed. It got nerfed so hard to the point where it's not even able to like 1-shot or 2-shot. So it has to be a bit of regret or high regret. But depends. I would say a bit of regret, or maybe not. I'll say that. And for Trick or Treat, this was one of the weapons I used to start when I was a newbie on my alt, because I personally find this weapon a bit decent or a bit good. So as a newbie, you can definitely try this out. Have this on your loadout until you have Exterminator or something. It's not even a bad weapon. And for Vampire Hunter is mostly known for being a 3-cast spam weapon, but I do not even care about it. So it has to be a decent weapon. It should be not recommended. And for Veteran and the War Master, both of these weapons are pretty similar in terms of DPS, and they both have the same damage. So I would say since their DPS is pretty low, I would say it should be high regret, and this should be high regret as well because they both suck. They have really bad DPS, which means it takes a really long time to kill enemies. But as I know, Veteran has better capacity than War Master, so I don't know if I should put it here or not. But I would definitely say here, because of course armory weapons are easily better than these weapons. And for Void Ray Rifle, it's almost decent. The only thing that makes it stand out is the gadget block, which means players cannot pull up their gadgets. So it's pretty decent. I should say it's a bit of regret. It's just a slightly worse version of the Solar Ray Rifle. And as I know, there are some laser weapons that outclass this weapon. And for Witch Hunter, I know some of you guys are probably waiting for this. And Witch Hunter basically is a worse version of Undertaker. It's just a worse version of Undertaker, which is not even surprising. And I would say it's only not recommended, but I don't know if Undertaker is still available in the armory, but this is just a worse version of the Undertaker. And for the Cursed Staff is the only weapon you can get that is actually similar to the Dark Mage Wand or the Wizard Wand, because both the Wizard Wand and the Dark Mage Wand are not even available in the gallery, and this weapon is actually available forever. So this weapon has to be a bit recommended. It's not really a bad weapon, but it's pretty good if you are a 3-cast spammer. So if you are looking for this one, if you are looking for a weapon that is similar to Dark Mage Wand or Wizard Wand, you can go for this one because it's not a bad weapon. But the only problem I feel is that I think the shots are delayed, but I can tell that the shots are not delayed because I did test it out, and it's just the explosion coming out late. So it's not even delayed shots. So that means stick to instantaneous shots. It's not even delayed. And for the last weapon I want to talk about is the Ricochet Rifle. The Ricochet Rifle is pretty decent. I don't know why this weapon used to be overrated back then, but as a newbie, I could say this is a bit decent. It could be either this or this, but for some reason I'll say this because it's not really that good anymore in the current meta. But I remember someone used it at Mythical, and I got killed very fast by it, so I don't really know how good it is in Mythical, but I could say it's gonna be here. It's pretty easy to use, so if you don't have a good aim, then go for this one, no problem. And that's the list for now, and I do not care if I would recap on this list because I know most of you guys do not even care about these epic and rare quality weapons because they are none of them are even considered good. The only good rare weapon in here is the Blighter, because the Blighter is one of the good weapons you can get from the gallery as a new player. And also the good epic you can get is the Cursed Staff, because it's the only weapon that is similar to Dark Mage Wand in the gallery. The rest are pretty decent or even considered bad. And yeah, that's it for the video, and if this video helped you guys, you can subscribe to my channel and like the video. And I'll see you guys in the next video, and peace out.